Today we're going to teach everyone how to do a backyard pond step-by-step process. This video is going to be a little bit different because you're going to get to see that we had some, quote, volunteers. We actually hosted a class on this exact video for video purposes and for DIYers where we walked everyone through. Let's dive right into step one, and that is marking out our pond. It's important to know like all of your equipment sizes, liner sizes, all of that, making sure that you're getting for what you want. You know, here we did an 8x11 pond, about 2 feet deep. So we have the correct size liner, the correct size fabric, you know, we know all of our flow rates, all of that part of everything has already been done. If you have questions on that, make sure you call and ask or hit a comment for us, and we will be able to help make sure that you have everything you need properly sized. So once our pond is marked out, you know, we painted it out with everything. The next important part is to place or set where we want our filters. So there's 2 filter boxes. You've got your skimmer box, which is your pump housing, and then you've got your biofall box. This is important because you want to make sure you're going to get proper circulation and flow evenly across and through your pond. Step, 3 and 4, get to digging. Grab your shovels, go down. As you're digging this pond, we did 2 shelves here. So you're going to take out that whole painted area. You're going to dig everything down to that first height. We did about 10 inches on this first one. And then as you go down, once that hole is flat to that first height, then you're going to paint out the shape you want for your second shelf, and then dig that part down, not digging into your top shelf numbers. Once your pond shape is roughly done and everything, we're going to go in and we're going to smooth everything out. So we want good vertical lines, we want flat shelves, so that way everything kind of drains and falls, and so it's easy to build on. Kind of the biggest thing that people tend to do is they make a slanted shelf, and then it's really hard to build your rock work on top of and get it nice and firm and safe. Otherwise you're going to have like your walls collapsing and everything. And as your fish grow, they move gravel around anyways, so they're going to move, and if it's at an angle, it's really easy for everything to move. So our next step is installing our underlayment, our fabric, and then our liner. So we already have the skimmer box hole opening and everything, so that's in. We're dropping this liner in on top of our fabric, so that fabric adds that nice protective layer, and then we get our fabric in there, and then we can go right into hooking up that skimmer. It's important that when we're hooking up that skimmer, our liner is not too tight on there. You don't want it to be really tight and then set a bunch of heavy rocks around it, causing that to pull down. You want it to just kind of loosely be there, a firm attachment, and then move on and start setting your rocks. As you're rocking in your pond, I kind of already mentioned, it's important that everything be like structurally sound. So the way we like to do it is those bottom courses, those bottom boulders, they don't have to be flat up against that rock. Leave them out an inch or 2, and then you'll get to see as we're building up, we backfill with that 2-inch river rock. It's important, it adds structural integrity to the wall you're building. It's exactly like building a boulder wall. We call that the unseen portion of your pond because it's below water level. We just don't want it to move. If you have kids, if you're gonna walk across it carrying a rock, you wanna make sure everything is firmly set in place. So once kind of the foot traffic and everything is done through there and you're not going across everything, we've started digging in our trench for our plumbing line that will connect from the skimmer up to that biofall. The biofall is dug in, back a few steps. That's already all set for us. Here we were kind of spoiled where we had an existing hillside, so we didn't have to create that berm. If you wanted to create a berm while you're digging, if it's a flat yard, as you're excavating your soil, you're just throwing it up to where that biofall is going to be. So if you want that drop in there, build up a little platform. Compaction is really important when you're setting those boxes, and then you can just take all of that soil and fill in around your biofall box so you get that nice natural look. So once your pond is all rocked in, you've got your plumbing line hooked up and everything, we can start rinsing all the rocks and gravel that are in the pond. This is also a great time to put in lights if you want to do that. Do that before your pond is nice and full. So if you've got your pond rinsed, you've got every gravel, all that stuff in there, everything's backfilled nicely, your lights are in, now it's time to start filling your pond. So once everything is out of the water, now we can start building our stream section up and out. So if you're not doing a long stream, make sure you have your biofall and your waterfalls all built before you get to this step. Otherwise, you're going to be standing in water. With your stream and your waterfall done, kind of our general rule of thumb is we want to go 18 inches beyond our waterfall system with our soil out there. If we can go flat off the tops of those rocks 18 inches over, it gives it a more natural look to it rather than just a big mound of dirt. You know, we don't want to create a big pimple in your yard. So if you have that level of soil, do that. If you need to bring in soil, now's the time to kind of finish off that grade work, bringing in your berm stuff, all of that. Okay, this is the most important step. Turn it on. So once it's on, now is a great time to tweak your waterfall. You know, you might need to make some foam adjustments. The most important thing while you're foaming that is to understand you're never going to stop 100% of water. You're just trying to change the path of least resistance to get water to go over the falls that you want. A little bit of foam goes a long ways. So you don't have to foam in every nook and cranny. If you're foaming the bottoms of rocks in the middle of your stream, water's probably already behind it anyways, so it's just not necessary. So you're on the home stretch, your waterfall is running, your pond is done, everything looks great. Now it's just a matter of trimming and hiding that liner. So when we do this, we like to we want the top of our liner to be about 4 inches above water level. So, you know, that's kind of an important step when you're setting water level back into marking out your pond. So making sure you have your elevations correctly. That also allows for your pond to overfill a little bit. And then in your stream section, it allows for, you know, if there's leaves or twigs or anything that's going to blow in there, if it dams it up a little bit, it allows for that water level to fluctuate up and down in your stream without causing major water loss. That's probably one of the most common leaks that we find in a system is there's just water running over liner edges. Sometimes we can fix it, but if there's no liner, you can't really do anything. You know, this is that final 10% that really makes that water feature pop and stand out to where it's completely naturalized. We don't want you to have to see all of the, you know, man-made products like your boxes, your liner, that kind of stuff. But the way we do it is we come up and then before we make any major cutting, we kind of fold it back down so it's up 4 inches above water level, and then we normally have 2 to 3 inches of water folded over where we just bring soil in behind it and kind of tuck it, and it's kind of right up there at the top of our rock level, so we'll just be able to nicely mulch right over it. And that goes right into our next step, bring in that mulch. So once you're all cut and tucked and liners trimmed up, you can mulch right up into it, make everything completely disappear except for your rocks. Final step is arguably the most important step, and that's for you to enjoy your new feature, because it's a truly a special experience to, you know, especially if you're building it yourself, just to get to sit there and look at everything that your hard work you just accomplished. Then you really get to make it your own. You get to add trinkets, you get to, you know, finish out the landscaping planting around it. It's, you know, it's a landscape feature. You're never going to completely be done with it, but the amount of satisfaction and enjoyment that you get out of a water feature versus a patio or just a landscape bed tends to be significantly higher. So congratulations, you just built your own pond. We'd love to see it. I hope you enjoyed it.